Chiara Cortez and Daphne Nisi.
Yeah, correct.
How are you? Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
you so much
This
for
was
having us.
Really amazing that you're here. I really appreciate it. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
your time.
inviting us. And yeah, we're great.
We're having fun already. We just had breakfast with Sal.
Yep. And
This
it was
is like
delicious.
the continuation of our conversation.
Should have recorded the hour podcast before during the breakfast.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I invited you here because you're doing something really interesting. You're doing a project that I don't think exists in this form in Rome or in Italy probably. It's called Circle Singing Roma, right?
Yes.
And so, what is it about for everybody who's listening here for the first time or who is listening and hears about this whole thing for the first time? Tell us a bit more about what it is.
So maybe I can just talk about circle singing in general, what that's about, and if Daphne would like to introduce our community. So circle singing is basically a form of extemporaneous composition, spontaneous singing. And usually when we have new people joining us for the first time at one of our sessions, I like to start with an introduction by giving thanks to Bobby McFerrin because we would not be around today if it weren't for him, because everything kind of started with Bobby McFerrin.
Isn't that the guy from Don't Worry, Be Happy?
Well, a lot of people know him for that. Yeah. But he's experimented a lot vocally as well. And what happened after he became famous with Don't Worry, Be Happy is he founded the Voicestra, and he started also doing a lot more experimental projects. He was already experimenting with spontaneous composition with his CD, Spontaneous Inventions. But then very interesting projects arose after Don't Worry, Be Happy, such as, for example, Bobby McFerrin started this idea of what is called a Sing for Your Life, in which I believe it was in 1990, the first one, in which he invited anyone. It was led by the Voicestra. They were the ones facilitating. But he invited anyone to come and participate. And they basically sang together using circle singing for 24 hours, for the first 24-hour concert.
Wow.
Completely improvised, facilitated and led and conducted by the Voicestra.
This is a record in the Guinness. I think so.
I believe it is.
It's got to be 24 hours.
24 hours singing? Yeah, maybe.
But it's like always the same
We
people
should check.
singing?
Yeah. Circle singing, yes.
Always the same people singing, or did they
No.
create a circle and so the circle remained basically...
So the same people, I think this is more than a Guinness.
No, not the same people.
They deserve a Guinness afterwards.
Not the same people, but...
Heroes.
So people would trickle in, as I understand it.
Yeah, of course.
They've kept up the tradition with David Worm in San Jose, and we've been meaning to go sometime. We haven't been able to yet. But basically the reason why...
We will one day.
We will one day.
David... We will come visit you.
Yeah, and but the reason why I mentioned this is because I feel like that is kind of where the idea of the community around this form of spontaneous singing started. Where it became more than just about performance, but it became more about a way of connecting as well through song. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then maybe we can give an example of what it's like. Clearly, it's different when you're standing in a circle with lots of people. But it's based on a modular form of composition. So you invent...
because it is extemporary. You cannot change like every second, of course. So what you do with the instruments, you change chords and rhythm and everything, but you cannot if you're improvising. So you have to use like loops. Loops made by people. You invent the loops, you give them to a section, the section sings this pattern, and then you can improvise on that, and then you can change. We have a lot of signs that we do so people can understand. They're very easy to understand. And
you don't need to rehearse. So
because it's in the moment.
It's music created on the spot.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, let's listen to an example so people get an idea.
Right away?
If you want,
Okay. But I also wanted to take the opportunity right now to say hello to our community.
Oh yes, because this is what we have to say that before.
Absolutely.
It's been 4 years now. 4 years.
2015, January 2015. Yes.
Yeah, wow. 4 years. Wow, it's a long time. It seems to me like yesterday. It's strange. And what we thought after participating to a workshop held by Rhiannon, who is member of this voiceestra, of Bobby McFerrin's voiceestra, we were participated to her workshop. We saw a concert after that, and it was entirely improvised concert, and we were just enlightened by this concert, and we asked her, okay, what to do now? We want to do it again here in Rome. Please come back soon. And she just told us, go on doing this by yourself. Build a community. We said, but we don't have experience about it. Well, study and do that practice and you will get that. And so we started.
Yeah.
This is how we
And you just did it. And
yeah.
Big props for that, because a lot of people don't do stuff. Like, it's one thing to think about creating, changing,
but it was necessary to do that for us.
We also didn't want to step on anyone's toes in the sense that first we did our research, trying to see, because our only intention in the beginning was to find a way to continue creating and to continue experimenting in the way that we had experienced during that weekend workshop, because we also found it a great way of bonding at the human level. And I'd also like to give props to Rhiannon, because she's a huge mentor of ours, but also of mine in particular, and I really, really love her dearly to heart. One of the teachers who's really kind of changed everything in my life, in our lives.
Many people's lives.
Yes. Yeah. Very big personality in the improvisation world. We're currently going on tour right now with Bobby McFerrin and Gimme Five.
Wow.
So this formation.
All around Europe also.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you guys get a chance to see that concert, don't miss that. It's like really, big thing.
Amazing.
But back to the story, we did our research and we were trying to see if there was already.
Just hold a little bit closer here.
Oh, thanks. If there were already was in existence a community that we could join and be part of. And we found a lot of workshops, but we didn't actually find like a community.
Right.
Something that was regular and not just like a one-time experience, but something that we could be part of and contribute to and continue experimenting with on a regular basis. And hence the decision, together with our other colleague and co-founder.
Yes, and we have to mention her. This is Laura Montanari, and she's in the USA now, in New York.
In Art Larthia, once upon a time Zagaros. Very, very creative, wonderful artist heart.
And friend, of course.
And she also really encouraged us in this sense, because at the time she was already based in New York, but she's the one who really helped us start this community. The very first.
Because she went to Omega, right? Yeah. She went to this big retreat of Bobby McFerrin, close to New York in the summer. And after that, she saw Rhiannon coming to Rome, and she said, you have to go, girls, please go. And then we waited for her, right? We waited for her in January. She came to Rome. I mean, Laura, not Rhiannon. Rhiannon came earlier.
Rhiannon came in October.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then we waited for Laura in January, and we started the thing together, of course, because
and she really thought about us because it was a time in which we really needed we were working on an album at the time. And we needed inspiration, and she felt that it was a great way also for us to continuously kind of revive our creative fire, right? So that's also part of the reason why we started this.
Feeling free, improvising.
And how did you go about that? I mean, you did your research and you did your homework, basically. And then did you just knock on somebody's door and be like, hey, we want to show up here, or how did you do it?
I'd just like to mention something because Daphne mentioned something, and so I'm just going to throw it out there for all the aficionados, all the fans of circle singing, because there's quite a few in Italy. It's a growing community now. So Daphne mentioned this workshop that Bobby McFerrin holds every August, and in Omega, a wonderful holistic center. In not New York City Center, but in Rhinebeck, New York. Wonderful way, actually, also of being out in nature, and I feel like the location itself really influences you. So, and really kind of contributes to the creativity that is experienced at Bobby McFerrin's Circlesongs workshop. So Laura, our friend, had participated there, and she's the one who introduced us to circle singing.
Yes.
And so just for the fans of circle singing, it's something that everyone who is like a big fan of circle singing should save up for and go to. And I've actually been there twice myself as well. So to answer your question, we've been constantly doing our research because one thing is we do these gatherings without, our intention is not to teach. Okay, we have laboratories that we've held. Right, at the Puntilinari School, for example, where we do a little bit of teaching as well. But when we hold these community gatherings, it's not about teaching. It's not like, here's the teacher and here's the student. It's a way of congregating.
And sharing this.
And sharing.
Practicing together.
And community bonding, community creation through this vehicle of music. So I think,
I think it's a very beautiful idea. It's almost spiritual in a certain way.
It is. Not religious, of course, not political, nor of this, but like just human beings together singing, looking at each other in the eyes, and without smartphones and everything, and like 2 hours of real life. Yeah.
And we... clearly we feel as if we have a responsibility in leading the community, but we have a wonderful community at Circle Singing Roma, so we are supported by many, many, many wonderful people whom we'd like to say hello to right now.
And say thank you for showing up every Sunday, and we call it Sunday Circle.
Because most of the time it's Sunday.
It's on Sunday,
We've had a couple of Saturday ones as well. And we do it once a month. We'd like to do it more often, but for now...
So let's talk about these researches that we did, because I think we should mention a lot of people with whom we connected and with whom we collaborated, and because we used to invite some guests sometimes, and we had our first guest. It was Stefano Baroni, right? Or no? Maybe he was our first.
Not only Stefano, because on that occasion, it was Stefano Baroni, but it just so happened that we had two friends. From Vienna visiting.
Oh, right.
Mario Amiro
and
Julia Radschiner.
Right, from Vienna.
So, those were our first guests.
Very busy day. Stefano Baroni is part of this body percussion community, which is also a huge community in Italy. It's growing day after day. And then we had...
and also Drum Circle. He's also a Drum Circle facilitator.
Which is basically the same thing of circle singing, but with drums. So very, very funny.
It's probably a little bit louder.
A little bit, yes. This is good in open air spaces.
That's true. Because circle singing in open air spaces can be quite tricky.
Yes, it can, because you need a good acoustic.
Right.
Yeah. And so then we had Cinzia Merlin.
That's right.
Then we had Nina Pedersen, Susanna Stivali, our former teacher.
Many thanks to Susanna Stivali, who always keeps us in her hearts and always involves us in projects.
And
she's very fond of our project.
Maybe the first vocal summit I did ever, it was with Susanna, I think.
Yeah, you got to experience that. Susanna always thinks that I've done that too, but I actually never got to be part of the vocal summit program with Susanna. Yeah, because I've only heard so much about it.
We were together in the music school in St. Louis College of Music in Rome. Yeah. And there are a lot of teachers, and one of these teachers is Susanna Stivali, great artist, great jazz singer, and another great friend. And then we also had
Stefania Patané.
Yeah,
my music school.
Yeah, and she was the one
facilitate as well.
She was the one organizing the Rhiannon workshop.
That's right.
Yeah.
So also thanks to her, because we wouldn't have been able to discover, I guess, vocal improvisation.
Then we had another
river with Rhiannon.
Yeah, exactly. Then we had Dodo Versino. He's a singer, pianist, and choir leader, and he had a vocal group.
Many vocal groups,
but one was in our hearts, Anonimi Armonisti, male septet a cappella, and we had a band together, me and Chiara, for 10 years, and this album you were talking about, the Sessions Voices is called. The band, and the album is Tender You Back, because then we did this album.
Okay, wow. Yeah. Is it available on iTunes?
Of course, yeah.
Actually, Sal, I totally forgot, but I brought one for you.
Oh, very good. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's 2 years old now, so we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary.
Throw the link. We'll make sure to throw the link also in the description, so people can
thank
purchase
you so much. And in this album, there is actually a circle singing song, because this
circle singing inspired,
well, I mean, it's
involving the community
of another good friend of us, who is Zusa Gonçalves, Brazilian artist and body percussionist singer, and they have a huge circle singing community.
And the Música do Círculo.
Yes, exactly. They did for us like the body percussion, rhythm. And there were no instruments except bass and body percussion. So instead of hearing the drum, you hear like this, sounds like this. And there
sounds like the Wolf of Wall Street. Did you see it?
So I feel like we're adding so much information, but just to go back a little bit, this song in particular is called Today, and it was composed by Laura Montanari, our friend. Yeah. And we all kind of collaborated. It was a great collaboration because there was Nzinga, another beautiful singer that I knew, one of the lead vocalists in that particular track, one of the featured guests. Yeah. And this particular track, which was Circle Singing inspired, so it was born out of an improvisation, and then I think Zusa and Música do Círculo did the arrangements, but they involved their community called Fritura Livre, a bunch of members from their community, Fritura Livre in Brazil, who collaborated on the track. So the track involves so many voices because
you don't
the sessions voices, right? Our the female band, the vocal ensemble, and
Nzinga.
Yeah, 6 of us. Were collaborating as the sessions voices there. We also had our friend Vainiti as well on the track. Former sessions voice.
Yeah. Okay.
Then Nzinga.
And then on the
then Música do Círculo. So Zusa Gonçalves, Ronaldo Crispim, and Pedro Consorte with their community, Fritura Livre. So you can imagine
like 100 tracks. For the sound engineer, he was in the mix. He was very, very happy about that, to work with 100 tracks.
I'm sure he was very happy about it.
Yeah, but let's just say that we had already done a little bit of
editing on that.
So you can imagine what the editing process of that particular song was
like really epic work, epic.
You add another few people, you could shoot another episode of Game of Thrones with all the cast.
Yes.
And but going back from this, Dodo Versino, we said a guest, our friend, and then also
let's mention the other international people.
Oh, Christian Karam. We had also.
So Christian Karam, we actually organized a workshop for her. Yeah. When was that? This was 2016. 2016. So Christian Karam is another teacher, another member of the faculty at Omega, and also at Berkeley Institute. And we also had Virginia Schenk, who's another wonderful improviser and voice, jazz singer from Atlanta, Georgia. She does these regular workshops in Ireland as well, these vocal retreats. So she also has a lot
of musical talent from there. I got a good friend from there.
Yeah,
from Ireland or
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Ireland, of course. In Atlanta, Georgia, so many talented singers.
Then we had the Boston community visiting us. They were in Rome, and because we have to say that there is one facilitator in Europe that created a circle singing map, and I'm so happy about that, because if you go to, I don't know,
now
Tokyo,
it's easy,
I don't know,
to connect with other communities.
You just check the map and you can actually connect to the circle singing community of the city.
Where do you find the map?
The map?
Yeah.
Online.
So I actually feel the need to mention some of these people. So of the Circle Singing community in Boston, I'd like to say in particular hi to Peter McLaughlin.
Yeah.
I hope I pronounced your name right, Peter. We met at Omega at the Bobby McFerrin Circlesongs workshop, and he was so wonderful to come and visit us, our community. So we also got to learn how they do, how they run their community, because there's so many different communities in the world. And everybody does things differently. So there isn't one way of running a circle singing community. I feel like our philosophies differ. And it was such a beautiful exchange. They shared some exercises with us that we continue doing today. We shared some exercises with them. And I'd like to take this opportunity to actually invite anyone else from any of the other facilitators, any of the leaders around the world to come and visit us, because it really creates such a wonderful exchange when we visit each other and share our experiences. But going back to the map that Daphne was talking about, so kudos and credit goes to Gaël Lebrit, who actually is the wonderful leader of a network. They have kind of like many different circle sing communities, although they don't call it that in France. Okay. So Gaël Lebrit is the leader of Chant pour tous, which literally means singing is for everyone. Yeah. And there are many different Chant pour tous communities in all different parts of France. But it was wonderful to connect with them as well. So we recently saw them, and we have a wonderful relationship with Gaël and with Camille. Camille Pascal, who is another Chant pour tous facilitator based in Belgium. And we just wanted to throw out these names because we feel so grateful to all these people that we've encountered.
And of course, another name is Roger Trees. Of course, we met him with Albert Hera. So let's talk about Albert. Albert is Italian, and he's running circle singing. I don't know how long. I mean,
well, he
20 years. I don't know. He was one of the first in Italy to do this.
Well, he was in the Vocabularies CD of Bobby McFerrin.
Oh, wow.
Which was co-arranged or arranged by Roger Trees.
No, but okay. Well, I was talking about Albert in Italy. He was one of the first bringing the circle singing, and Vocabularies is Roger Trees, of course.
And Albert is on there. And well, since we're mentioning the names, there's so many different facilitators, but let's say kind of like the big ones that are more well known in Italy. So we mentioned Albert because he has a whole Circleland festival, which is where we met Roger. I'd also like to throw out another name, Oscar Baldre, who is more known as well in the north. Is a wonderful, wonderful facilitator with his different choirs. He's another one like Dodo, who's got like 1 million choirs. Who's also been doing circle singing. Let's say like the kind of, how do you say, our not mentors, but kind of like the precursors. In a sense,
precursors.
Right? People who've been doing circle singing a while and bringing that into.
I feel like since we've started this thing, we met a lot of people and new great people and communities, and it opened for us like a new world.
Yes.
I mean, you said it was about community building when we first met today, and it seems like you met a lot of people along the way, so it really seems to be all evolving around building a community and meeting people and creating these experiences. So
I think that's a collateral effect. In the sense that I don't even like to say that we purposely do that.
Yes.
If we talk about circle singing is really just a form of extemporaneous improvisation. But the effect that it has in community building and bringing people together is undeniable. So it's not like we say, okay, we're doing this to bring peace to the world. But I do feel that it does contribute in that sense.
Yeah. Then maybe we have to mention other friends with whom we are working on a musical project. It's called Electro Circlesongs.
That's right.
Yeah. We have Martina Datura.
Who invited us to guest at her community.
Yeah, she is in Florence, and she collaborates with the producer, Massimo Giuliani, and they invited us in this group of, 20 people, 20 singers, facilitators, and...
I think there are 50 right now.
Yeah, it's like, it's growing.
It's a collective of...
and it's electric circle singing?
Yeah,
so,
very, very nice mix of improvised singing and improvised electronic...
like beats and synthesizers?
Yeah.
All right.
So, very, very nice. And... we have let me think about it.
Now that we've mentioned all these names, I'm really scared of forgetting someone. And I hope that if we have, please don't be offended. Know that we have you in our hearts.
Of course.
Just blame it on me. It's all my fault. I put him under pressure. Under pressure. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so so if I decide now today as a citizen who travels through Rome or lives in Rome, and I want to partake in a circle singing session. First of all, what can I expect? What do I have to bring to the table? Like, do I have to be a singer? Do I have to be a musician? Do I have to know anything about music at all? And what happens? Like, how do I approach this whole event?
So,
what's your suggestion?
You don't have to be a musician in order to participate. We do have musicians who are part of the community. But there is no formal musical training or music theory knowledge that is required. I feel like the only thing that I would say is kind of a requirement is an open mind and an open heart and a willingness to be present. So I don't even say a willingness to participate, because we, let's show them the symbols. What we ask, and it's a request, it's not a demand, is that people are present and they contribute their energy when they are part of the circle.
Okay.
But I also like to enforce that it is not necessary. Like, if anybody at any point is not comfortable with a proposal, we have two symbols that we use.
Well, we cannot show that, but in the video, yes. Okay, yeah.
This means, so with the proposal that you've suggested, I would like to participate, but I need a little help. So in this case, if somebody does a symbol,
if you're in Rome, it means I am scared, or I'm scared of something. But I learned recently that this for the Arab world, for example, it means
something bad. Oh, sure.
No. But just wait. Wait a moment, they say like this, wait a moment, and if we say like this, it means, oh, I'm very scared, something's going to happen. And so it's just for fun that we use this sign, exactly this sign. But it means like, I'm a little bit scared, please, I need some help. And we will.
But that's just to show that, when you come and participate, there's nothing to fear of, because it's you will receive full support. So there is the possibility also of trying your hand and experimenting, even if you are feeling a little fear, because you will always be able to ask for support with this gesture. Or the other gesture that we have, it isn't even necessary that you jump into any proposal that we make. Nobody is forced to do anything. This other symbol, I feel more comfortable just being present and giving my testimony. But I prefer not to respond to your request. And
I pass.
And they are completely acceptable. And so we're very open. The only thing that we request is an open mind, an open heart, and the willingness to be present.
And it happened sometimes, and it was very funny, that some friends came and they thought it was a concert, because of course, we are also singers and we have many different musical projects. So I invite people all the time to concerts, to workshops, whatever. And people came and, oh, well, where's the concert? And I said, oh, I'm so sorry. It's not a concert. You will sing too. You will be singing. And they said, what? No, thank you so much, but no, I'm not a singer. I cannot. No. This is really, it's about that. It's just having fun together. Just come. And they actually, 10 minutes later, they were singing in the circle and not knowing that before. And
it's such a great feeling to facilitate somebody, to motivate somebody to maybe push their boundaries, even their limits, if they didn't expect it at all, especially if they're not singers or like shy before, and then like give them like the little nudge.
Yeah. And it's very easy. It's just the first step, always, you know. It's maybe the difficult one, but then is everybody can do that.
Yeah.
It's an old myth that we believe in, that people are out of tune. It's not true. It's really not true. If they feel comfortable, if they have the opportunity to have the time to listen to the notes, to the sounds.
Right, listening is very important.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I also feel like, you know, there are different contexts. And this is kind of like a judge-free context. We really highlight that a lot, that we like to say that there's the concept of a mistake does not exist in our safe space. So in our community gatherings, what we like to create is a safe space where people can experiment. It's really all about the experimentation, about putting yourself out there and sharing through music, right? The co-creation and the collaboration of making a musical piece together. And I would also dare to say that every single individual can, it means something different to every person who comes and participates, right?
Right.
I have to say that part of the stimulus for me, like I actually really care about the compositional aspect as well. So for me, aside from the community bonding, it's also a way to create beautiful music and test it out, right? Like how many times do you have the possibility of having a circle has a certain kind of energy. Like that's also why we like to sing in the formation of a circle. You know, you're not giving a performance, and there's not that same boundary of a stage, the public, and then the performer.
And everybody's the same.
Everybody's involved. Everyone is equal. Everyone is the same. So even the words, the terminology that we use, right? It's not like we say, you know, I'm the leader,
right,
and you're the follower. It's not about that. We use the term facilitator, facilitating, meaning making it easier, right? The facilitator gives the parts, but it isn't a role that involves ego, because it's all about the togetherness of the musical creation process.
Well, the satisfaction is actually to create music.
Yes.
Is already very satisfying, so you don't have to... it's not about yourself. It's not about judging the other. It's just about, oh, wow, we did a song together. And it wouldn't be possible without you and also without me. So it's very... You should come. You should come and experience it.
I would love to,
Yeah,
totally.
you have after this, I mean, you...
Now you definitely need to, because you
are...
Of
course, you have
no more excuses. So how does it work? Does somebody decide, okay, you're going to start, or you give a beat or something that starts the whole thing because you have an idea when you drive there that you want to create something in this direction today? Or it's just you gather in a circle and then whoever starts first, the whole dynamic thing kind of rolls.
It can happen in every... Yeah, it changes every time.
So really that's what Daphne and I are there for. That's our role, in the sense that we kind of help channel the process.
Yeah, right? And maybe we have some ideas before. Sometimes we meet just a little bit before the circle, and Chiara tells me, look, I was in the car and I got this idea. Would you mind if we try this thing today? We start with this exercise. And I say, yeah, okay, very nice. And then, but maybe then we can do that. Yeah, let's try. And then, of course, while doing that, it can change also for us, and we go with the flow, you know, and it depends on the people that are there, and so
And we call ourselves Circle Singing Roma, but, we actually venture into other forms of improvisation as well. We don't just stick to circle singing, although the majority of our time is... We do also preparatory exercises that help to facilitate the idea of extemporaneous composition, right? So the exercises that we do are always changing. Sometimes we may do a warm-up, but every group feels different. So we kind of just use our intuition and feel, okay, what is the group's desire as well? Like, what is our mood today?
Okay.
So sometimes half the time we will be circle singing and half the time we might be doing something else, but that stimulates cooperation and improvisation and creativity.
Oh, we had also this other guest about the nonviolent communication. This
my gosh,
very nice day. Yeah.
Like nonviolent communication?
Yes, but I think you should talk about that because...
So this guest, Diana Dugulan, who is actually in the process of certification.
Okay.
So this is another part of my interest in world that I wanted to bring to this, because since 2017, I've been studying nonviolent communication, not necessarily successful at practicing it.
I guess in a city like Rome, this is really hard.
Yeah. It's really hard to practice nonviolent communication, especially when you're behind the wheel, like this morning, I gotta say. But so we like, for the purposes of circle singing, I mean, we can talk about it, but I feel like that's another podcast episode. But it's just to tell you that we like to invite people from different disciplines and who can contribute to our community in many different ways, which is not even just strictly the musical, from a musical point of view, but also from anything that's heart opening or creativity inspiring, that inspires collaboration. We're open to any sort of influences along that line. Yeah,
and also another person to whom I want to say hi.
Good that you thought about that.
Yes, because I'm just going back in these 4 years, and I'm just remembering all of these experiences. And one person to whom I want to say hi is Leonora Franklin. She is in Dubai. I was there in the last 6 months, and she is running their drum circle community, and they invited me through Stefano Baroni, the common friend.
Him.
Yeah, because it's a network all around the world. It's like spies of circle singing and body percussion all around the world, and they invited me. And I had the opportunity to do this circle singing. It was the first circle singing in their community there in Dubai, on the beach, at the sunset, and talking about acoustic. It was not the perfect with the wind and everything, but it was very nice atmosphere, and we were very close to each other in a small circle. And now she told me, like yesterday, she wrote to me, look, I tried some exercise after the drum circle of circle singing, and it was very good. So they're going on with this thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah. So hi, Leonora.
What else while you were talking, something came to mind, but
I think
like now
nonviolent communication was the last thing before.
No, well, we could talk about it, but I feel like
I think maybe
that's a whole other tangent.
At this point, maybe we really should do some example.
All right.
Right?
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm sitting, so.
But you will participate.
Worst comes to worst.
You will participate, you know?
Yeah.
Will I?
Of course.
So we'll just have to improv a little bit. Now
now I'm scared.
So I don't think that our viewers at home can see this, but I have my Boss RC505 on my lap right now. And because it was a little bit complicated, like recording on the spot and passing the mic to one another.
This is a loop station.
Yeah, this is a loop station. We have a couple. So let me explain how it would go. We would go about if we were standing in a circle and starting a circle song. So the facilitator would be at the center of the circle and thinking up a voice part, an ostinato, to assign to a section. And then the circle is divided into sections, and the facilitator starts thinking of parts, assigning to the different sections. Maybe soloists are called in, and the whole thing is a process of evolution because the voice parts don't necessarily stay the same. You may decide to shut a voice part and then bring it back in, or you may decide to change it completely. But for our intents and purposes today, let's just give an example of what.
Yeah, Chiara prepared. We call it like playground because it's our playground. She did like looping herself, singing these patterns she invented, and one layer after the other, you create the song and the texture of the musical texture.
So that's like as if there were many people there, and every person contributes their own looping parts to the whole song.
Sometimes, if we do an open circle, then people can invent their parts. In a regular, let's say, circle song, it's one facilitator that assigns it.
It can start by singing, or it can start by body percussioning, like with sounds. It's very free. You can decide in the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
But because everything is extemporaneous and the parts are basically based on loops, so they're cyclical.
Yeah.
So let's just give an example.
All right.
Okay.
Let's listen.
Hopefully they can hear this. Vediamo un attimo.
I can hear that.
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
So then I would assign this part, for example, to section.
Okay.
Start feeling the harmony with the different notes. Can you put out the drum? Yeah, I like it more like this.
So that's the second part that I was assigned to the second section. And here's the third one now.
And now you can really feel the harmony.
You could also choose to harmonize the voice part and assign that harmony to a section, right?
I think you just can sing on that.
And then at this point, maybe I might call in a soloist to do a solo, or invite maybe two people to do a duet, or in this case, like invite three people and do a trio to improvise on this. Shall we give it a try?
That's fun.
It's very fun.
I'm completely mesmerized now, by the way. It's like, it's a very, it's like a meditation almost.
Oh, well, yes, because it's repeating. Well, African people, they do it like from since, I don't know, since they were...
Yeah, we give credit to Bobby McFerrin, but
they were
clearly, this is a practice that
this
has
is very important to say
the beginning of time.
Yeah, if you go to Africa and maybe, you for certain you will meet people that sing in a circle. and it's a religious thing, but they know the power of this thing to sing together in a circle and to repeat. When people go in this kind of trance,
right?
Yeah, this state of.
I was just there for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Because
that's right. You were telling us, right? That you
repeating
right.
the things, and it puts you in a state, like maybe you're open channel. Yeah, you open your channel and you can. I don't know. Well, it depends on your beliefs, but of course, it's an ancient practice.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it really works. I think it's like that with many things. Like if you do sports, if you're running, for example, I had a few marathon runners here on the show before. And if you run the repetition of running after an hour or so, if you run a marathon, you also go into this flow, this runner's flow. It's also like a meditation, basically. And you lose yourself, and then an hour later, you're like, how did I get here,
Yeah, exactly. And in this rushing world outside, maybe sometimes it's very important. I think in Rome, we really need to meet 2 hours and sing together and listen to each other.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a really, really good idea to do this in such a city such as Rome, where there's a lot of neurosis and a lot of anxiety and a lot of. So how do people react usually after they come to the circles for to sing the circles the first time?
Oh, happily. They're happy. I mean, we have a lot of fun in the end. We laugh a lot and we hug sometimes, and it's
different people. I think come for different reasons, so they react differently. But in general, the reaction that we've had to this initiative is positive. Yeah, we've heard a lot of really good feedback, and sometimes feedback that has also surprised me with how touched and how much people feel it contributes to their life. So after 2015. So after 4 years of doing this now, we have a pretty stable and regular community. And we've really seen them grow. We've really watched them grow.
But literally, because we have a family, a couple, they have 3
2 kids, 3 children.
And one of them, he was like 6 years old, and he did a very good circle song. I remember,
and he was just at the last macro as well. Everyone was so impressed.
But now he's like
10.
Yes.
He just turned 10 in...
it's really...
Wait, was it in March? I'm forgetting. Because, basically, I remember it was... Chiara's birthday was also right after Flavio's birthday.
Yeah, so we have this family, and they bring their children. It's this. We have to say that there is no age limit. It's
There's
very
no
important.
age limitation. There's no. We don't really. Everyone is welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel we should say where we meet. It depends on the season. In the good season, like spring, summer, beginning of autumn, we meet outside in Villa Ada. It's a very nice park in Rome. There is a temple, circular temple, of course.
That has been the tradition, or sometimes we've experimented with Trastevere as well. So even though it may sound strange, we've sung under some bridges, which can be quite romantic actually.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I also like the idea of giving new meaning to spaces that are public spaces and making them, they're public spaces. So why don't we actually
use them
and make them about community? This is also the way that we express our love for this city, because it's what we can do as musicians to contribute to Rome. Yeah. And really came out of a need to contribute.
And
our city
this year we started, and I have to thank Chiara for this, because she was the mind behind that great idea.
Behind this great idea.
Yeah, exactly, the stalker. And we started this new collaboration with the Macro Museum.
Let's say for the people who are not from here.
Yeah, there is
the Contemporary Museum of Art here in Rome.
Macro, called Macro, and they had this initiative about. Bringing artists in the museum, and now we meet there in the autumn and winter time. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, most of our meetings, will be there, with just a couple of exceptions in which we will be organizing it with some collateral events as well in other locations. Like we were hoping to do a circle singing this weekend, but we'll have to see, because May, unfortunately, has given us a lot of strange weather.
It's very strange for this time of the year. Yeah, it's very surprising.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the summer now. Really.
I'd just like to say thank you to Giorgio De Finis, the curator of the Macro, the Museum of Contemporary Art here in Rome, for believing in our project and giving us, a home for this year, a regular home.
A very beautiful.
And of course, and his collaborators.
Very beautiful home. Yeah.
So where do people go then to find out where you're going to be, where to find you, where the next projects are? Where do you spread the news? Where are your channels? What's your social media? All
right, our social media. So we are on Facebook and Instagram and Meetup, but you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Circlesinging Roma. Or you can also email us. We do have an email list, which I think is the best way that for people to find out about our next meetings, because every time we decide upon a gathering, then we always send an email, and it's probably the best way of kind of keeping up to date with our gatherings. But for the interaction purposes, we also have a very active community, and our Facebook page is another great way of getting in touch with us. But if you email us, it's circlesingingroma@gmail.com.
Okay.
That's also our handle on the different platforms. So you can find us by typing in Circle Singing Roma on Instagram as well.
Yeah, and we want to grow our community, so please feel free to check out the pages. And also maybe, sometimes it happens to us to meet school teachers, or this experience you had in the last months in the Regina Coeli, the prison. There are a lot of aspects that need to be experimented.
There's so much to talk about.
It is, but just...
So the prison project is quite interesting. Maybe if you have a few words.
Well, actually, I feel the need now. Thank you for reminding me. I was about to forget, and I feel like that's something that's very close to my heart, and something that we'd been speaking about for a while. But I met this wonderful human being, first of all, and music therapist, Silvia Riccio. So I'd like to say hi to her, and I feel very close to her. We haven't known each other that long, but she already feels like family to me. She's from Naples. And she has a program. So she collaborates with a lot of schools and other initiatives as well. But she has this program in Regina Coeli which is called Musica Dentro, where every Thursday, every week, she brings music to the inmates. She has a laboratory with them. And I had the pleasure of being invited by her. I forget when it was, but it was before December. And
I think in November,
Yeah, November. I can't remember but I told you about it. And we are discussing about returning there. It was one of the most powerful experiences. And we have plans on going back with not only Daphne and I, but with a couple of members of the community who expressed interest in...
Yes.
In coming with us.
Of course, we will. And also, I mean, the future is full of ideas and different experiments that we have to do with this circle singing. I mentioned school teachers in school, because it would be great to do that with the children, of course. And it's a really good way to grow up and don't feel like, I'm out of tune all the time. No, you won't, because you did circle singing while you were a child. So, these kind of things. And
we've spoken a lot about intuition, but actually through the practice of circle singing, I feel like you develop a lot of musical skills without necessarily the formal knowledge of developing them, but it really helps. I've seen people grow, like even people who wouldn't define themselves as musicians, who've really developed musical skills, who've been following us for a very long time. And, when we do these gatherings, we've had a laboratory in which we've taught a couple of things as well. But when we do these gatherings, we don't teach per se, right? But nonetheless, even people who have just been frequenting our community gatherings, I've seen them grow throughout the years. We've seen them really develop in a way that sometimes has also really surprised us.
And of course, we do also our workshop together. We have a program that we developed together, and so we're also... Yeah. We did that in the music school Ponte Linari.
Yeah.
It was a very nice experience, 4 days, and great people who grew a lot in these 4 gatherings. Yeah.
So that's something separate from the
of course the
community. Because
but we have also a musical career. We are singers and teachers, and so it's part of our lives.
And we'd like to take this opportunity also to thank Sibel Tiziana Aquilani for inviting us. And
exactly,
she really had this project of bringing circle singing to Tor Vergata. And so we started this collaboration with her, last year. And so we're looking forward to more collaborations in future.
Nice.
Yeah, so just come visit us, please.
Yeah, check out some of our other initiatives. And we will always be posting them, both the gatherings that we do, the community gatherings, which, by the way, are free, or we believe in an economy of a gift economy is what we call it. And some of the other professional initiatives that we are working on as well.
Yeah.
So is there anything that people should bring when they come to these circles, like water or anything? Is there something you suggest? Or
it's better. It's always better to have water, but you don't need anything.
We recommend maybe comfortable clothing, because you never know if one of us has a crazy idea that we propose in which movement will be involved. So we do recommend comfortable clothing.
But it's very normal thing. So
it's a very laid back, easygoing atmosphere.
All right. Well.
Is there anything else that we're forgetting to talk about? Would you like to add anything, Daphne?
No, I really, I just think, just come and do that. It sounds strange in Italy, in Rome. Everybody has always things to do, but really, it's really nice, a nice experience. So just try, come and help us building a bigger community. Yeah, that's what I want to add.
Well, look, if anything else comes to mind later, we're going to add all the links to the description in the video.
Exactly.
So you will not miss out.
Thank you so much, Sal.
Thank you.
Chiara, Daphne.
Thank you
so much for being on the podcast. This was amazing. I hope many new people will come to your singing circles. I think it's really, really good what you're doing for community building, for...
and also what you are doing, giving a voice to this...
initiatives.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you very much, Sal.
Thank you very much, guys. All right. Have a nice day, guys.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.